7 months ago, we arrived in New Zealand after sailing across the Pacific Ocean, a crew of 3. Gary, our friend Hannah, and I, tired, proud, and ready for our next adventure. Hannah went on her way, and then we sailed from the Bay of Islands down to Auckland, where we bought a van, and then Gary sailed to Whitianga, where we left One Life on a mooring for a much-earned rest, and we tried our hand at van life. The roads led us through both the North and South Islands, with breathtaking landscapes waiting around every bend. Eventually, it was time to return to the boat, take on a full rigging refit, and knock out a few lingering projects. But regardless of how beautiful New Zealand is, it's the people who make a place truly unforgettable, and New Zealand is now etched in our hearts because of them. Our new chapter starts now, as we depart New Zealand for Fiji, and our hearts are fuller than ever before. We're no longer a crew of 2, but a crew of 2.5. There is a big stretch of ocean between us and Fiji, and although we have done many offshore passages before, going into this one with the baby on the way, we felt a bit more apprehensive. We just motored out of the bay here, and it took us a bit to get out into some winds, but we have our full Genoa out and our mainsail. We're going quite slow right now. We only have about 8 knots of winds, but it feels good just to be back out sailing again. And pretty long passage ahead of us. I think it's about 1,200 miles to Fiji, which will be our second longest sail to date. But depending on the weather and how we're feeling, we might make a stop in Minerva Reef, which is about 780 miles from where we are now. So 2 options. And right now we're just gonna kick back. We have the autopilot on and enjoy these beautiful conditions. The weather wouldn't be too kind to us for the first night. It wasn't long before the dark clouds rolled in and darkness brought squalls to pelt us with rain and force us to adjust sails throughout the night. A nice welcome back to ocean sailing. But that wasn't our only issue. In. Good morning. It is the start of day number 2, and One Life is loving it. She is flying along. We have great conditions. We are doing between 6 and 7 knots and about 13 knots of breeze. So this is like ideal. The wind is coming from like our forward quarter. So we're pointed a little bit into it, but it's been really comfortable. But yesterday we really didn't feel much. Once we got out into the ocean swell, I started to feel really sick. I ended up just vomiting all over myself and the side of the boat. So I pretty much spent the rest of the time down below just trying to hydrate and get my sea legs back. And we kind of knew that this might be an issue for me. This is the first time that I've done a big sail since I found out that I'm pregnant. And I wasn't really sure how I would feel. So I'm hoping that today will be a better day for me. It's something that Gary and I talked a lot about before going on this sail. It's a big boy sail, 1,200 miles with no resources. And I don't know, I decided to go ahead and do it instead of flying and meeting him in Fiji. And I know we'll probably get a lot of opinions and a lot of comments down below about what's safe and what's the right thing to do. But, One Life is my home, and sailing is part of our life and our lifestyle. So since I have been feeling okay and everything with the pregnancy is going as normal, I wanted to do the sail. So I'm hoping today I'll feel a little bit better. And yesterday was just
me getting adjusted to life at sea again, because it's been a really long time since we've done a sail like this. But I'm just going to get cozied in for the day. Gary's been a real all-star. He's going to have to pull double the weight on the sail. Unfortunately, I'm not able to do things that I, used to do. And yeah, he let me sleep pretty much all night last night, so I'm going to let him sleep all day. And I'm just going to hang out in the cockpit and take it all in.
Unfortunately, I couldn't shake my seasickness, so I traded places with Gary and resumed my position on the couch. There are days offshore when we wonder what the hell we're doing out here, and this was definitely one of those days. Gary was managing the boat solo, I was seasick and puking, and with every wave we were getting further away from land. It made us discuss the possibility of turning back to New Zealand, but I was committed to my decision, and so we pushed ahead. Typically, we try to have a nice warm dinner together in the cockpit before we begin our night watches, but tonight, Gary was left on his own, reheating some tuna noodle casserole. The squalls passed through pretty quickly, stripping us of wind and leaving us with beautiful, sunny blue skies and the hum of the engine. But as nighttime crept in, the wind slowly did as well.
The sun is just setting here on our third night at sea. It's been pretty slow going so far, pretty frustrating. Not a lot of wind, but we have just enough wind to keep the sails filled right now, so we're coasting along at about 3 knots, which is just fine for now. We need to save as much fuel as we can. The sail has been already quite a bit different, and I don't think I've said it on camera yet, but things are looking quite different for us because we're going to have a baby. And that is absolutely amazing. We're so excited. And it's a huge change already with Brooke being pregnant. And it's been a real challenge adjusting for her. She, got sick almost immediately when we went offshore. And she's not used to that. And also with me just having to take over a lot more of the boat and the watches and really limit what she's doing on board. But it's been working out pretty well. She's feeling better now after a couple days, and have faith that she'll pull through. She's such a warrior. I can't believe that she's sailing from New Zealand to Fiji, like 4 months pregnant, and is going to continue to sail around Fiji. She's absolutely amazing, and she's doing a great job taking care of herself and taking care of the baby, and that's all I need her to do. And I told her I will take care of the boat and the sailing, and she doesn't have to worry about any of that. But huge news for us, and can't wait to see what the future brings for us. We weren't sure, I guess, for a long time if we wanted to have kids and if we wanted to start a family, and we weren't sure if we could have the lifestyle that we wanted and a family. But this year we got to New Zealand and we talked about it, and we decided, let's take the risk. Why not jump in and go for it? Just like when we decided to quit everything and go sailing, you gotta jump all the way in and just go for it. And it's scary, but I know that it's gonna work out great and it's gonna be amazing. Hopefully this wind picks up and is also amazing tonight, because we could definitely use a little boost. We've got 500 miles left to Minerva Reef, so about 800 or 900 to Fiji if we go straight there, and we'll just keep on taking it one day at a time here.
Although our sail was slow to start, day 4 brought us stellar conditions and the wind we had been waiting for to start ticking off the miles. I'm finally starting to feel like a real person. We have about 15 knots and we're on a broad reach, and it just feels really good to feel good again. I was getting worried there for a bit, but managed to find my sea legs again, which is good. And now we're just cruising along, so hopefully the conditions stay like this, because we've been motoring a lot, which we expected in the first couple days. But hopefully from now on out we'll be able to sail, and yeah, just looking forward to enjoying the sail. It'll be my last long sail for a while, so I really was bummed that I wasn't feeling good, because I kind of just wanted to soak it all in and yeah, enjoy it. But anyway, Gary sounds sleeping and I'm just doing a watch. Gary's not letting me do too much on the boat. I'm not even allowed out of the cockpit, so he's taking good care of me, which is great. I feel really fortunate about that. So anyway, I'm just gonna listen to a book and that's it. Gary just woke up, so I'm gonna try to make us some food. It'll be the first time that I will be cooking since we left. Yeah, so I'm going to try to keep it simple. Luckily, I made us some passage meals, well, not really meals, just like muffins and egg salad and stuff. So we've been living off those things for the last 4 days, but I think it's time for us to eat actually something a little bit more substantial. So I'm going to try to make us eggs and bacon. Feeling well enough to cook was a huge relief. I think Gary was especially happy to get a break from galley duty and to finally eat something other than sausages, crackers, and egg salad. So I decided to make some bacon sandwiches because, well, bacon always boosts crew morale. I did it! It's a struggle.
Yo, whoa, look at that. Breakfast!
Gary was stoked, but by the time it was ready, I couldn't take a single bite. What happened to our nice weather?
It's a lovely day. Look how sunny it is.
Sun has just gone down on our 4th night at sea, and I'm on watch. Gary just went down to get some sleep. We've had squalls all around us for the majority of the day, just rain, and the most wind we saw was about 28 knots. But instead of adjusting the sails, we've pretty much just been adjusting our course, because
we're still undecided if we're going to go to make a stop in Minerva or go right to Fiji. So the shift in wind, isn't really an issue for us right now because we can point to either direction. We're just trying to make the sail as comfortable as possible. But yeah, it's another, almost full moon here, so should be a lot of light. And hopefully these squalls dissipate pretty quickly. I don't want it to be a squally night, so I hope we can get some sleep and have an easy night. Turning more into the wind.
Yeah, just a little more.
Last night was a bit of a sleepless one. We had gusts up to 36 knots, and we ended up having to put 2 reefs in our main, and we put out our staysail and brought in our Genoa. So anyway, such as offshore passages, but I know Gary didn't get much sleep at all last night, so I hope that he can get some rest today. The sea state's starting to calm down a little bit, but it's still pretty big swell, so we're rolling back and forth a lot. But we've decided to go ahead and jibe towards Minerva, so we have about 300 more miles to go, and we're hoping that, ideally it would only take us 2 days, but we don't want to go in at night through the pass, so we'll probably wait and go in Monday morning. When do you want to out to?
Start the first stop. Let's try look.
It looks pretty good. Probably a little more. So as the day has gone on, the sea state has gotten pretty big. We have about 8-foot seas at about 7 seconds, so it's pretty sloppy out there. And I'm really just down here trying to keep water down. I feel pretty nauseous. And poor Gary, he's pretty much just solo sailing right now. I'm trying to get it together so that I can do my night watch so that he can get some sleep before he does his night watch. But yeah, really struggling today and not feeling great at all. Hopefully tomorrow will be a better day.
I must admit, I was pretty happy that the wind gods cooperated with our request to stop in Minerva Reef, as my nausea just wasn't going away. After almost a week at sea, I was ready for the boat to stop moving, and Gary was back on galley duty.
To be honest, I don't mind the cooking at sea and watchkeeping, and I think I actually had the easier role on this passage. I did make enough for Brooke when she feels good enough to eat, but this dinner would be another solo one for me.
While I spent the remainder of the passage horizontal, Gary kept sailing one life like a total rock star. I have to admit, despite being completely useless, I felt kind of proud knowing I was growing a tiny human amongst the chaos in the middle of the Pacific Ocean.
Well, we've made it to Minerva Reef. We just motored through the pass, and we're here. We were last here like 7 months ago, and we're excited to be back, maybe catch some lobsters, but we're mostly excited to get a couple nights of good sleep in this awesome little atoll in the middle of the ocean. I'm going to drop the mainsail now, and it's been super easy hoisting and reefing the mainsail since we fixed the furler drum and replaced the blocks on deck. I can do it all by myself now. No need to go up on deck.
This lifestyle can break you down physically, mentally, and emotionally. But then you arrive, you've got a cold drink in your hand, salt in your hair, and the sun melts behind the horizon. And suddenly, there's nowhere else you'd rather be.